Alright guys, so we're back again with this the Commodore SV6 doing the timing chain. As you saw in the last video, the top timing marks line up. So we want to take it apart and then we'll look at the bottom. So to do that, we need to take the radiator out and remove this water inlet pipe here and anything else that's in the way, including the belt and all the other pulleys that are in the way too. So we'll do that now. So here we're going to start off by removing the top radiator hose. Alright, now we're going to move on to do the bottom radiator hose. Now that the radiator hoses are off, we're going to move on to removing this hose out of the expansion tank here. So yeah, we can unplug the radiator fans. The radiator fan plug there. Now to loosen the radiator, you need to get in underneath this tab and lift it up. And that raises the mount, so the mount comes out. Do the same thing on this side as well. Just raise that tab and the mount will come out. Okay, and let's loosen the radiator. Alright, so now we just need to tilt the radiator back and undo these 10mm bolts from the AC condenser. That's going to stay in the car. We don't want to distract any of the AC stuff. Shows a 10mm, yeah, it's a 10mm. Alright guys, now that those bolts are undone, the AC condenser and the radiator are now separate. So now, if you have an automatic version of this car, you need to undo the transmission oil lines that go to the radiator. I'll just show you how to do that now. Alright guys, so these are the automatic transmission oil lines, and to remove them from the radiator, what you need to do is you need to remove the sleeves. Move the sleeves back. These little plastic sleeves here. Then underneath those sleeves, there's those little circlips. You will need a small screwdriver, and you just push the cable towards the engine. When you put your little screwdriver in, I'll just show you when I'm done. So that's one of the circlips of the coolant hose, of the transmission fluid hose. It's one of the circlips. It's just half a clip. So what you do is you just get your screwdriver in, get it under there, and then lift it up. So I'm going to do the second one now, and the radiator should be ready to come out. You don't damage any of the AC lines, so just be careful with those. And what you need to do is just lift it out. Radiator. Alright, now that the radiator's out, it's time to remove this water neck. So you've got these two bolts here, and this water neck should come off, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So it's a 10mm socket. Just do that. And then there's that water neck. Now there's O-rings on the back of here that are going to need to be replaced. I've got new ones of those too. You can see that's the water neck. Now we need to remove this power steering reservoir to get it out of the way. So it's got two bolts, one at the top here and one down the bottom. So we'll get to that too. Just pop them up here. So now we're going to plug this plug here out of the way. Now what you want to do is remove the water pump pulley while the belt's still on so it doesn't spin. So we'll do that. That's a 10mm as well. And just put all the bolts back into the pump so you don't lose them. What you want to do next is loosen the tensioner pulley here so you can release your belt. So you need a 1/4 inch breaker bar, I'm pretty sure. You just stick him in there. Sorry, it's a 1/2 inch, not 1/4 inch. Loosen them up and just pull the belt off. Belt off. So this car has actually got the wrong type of coolant in it. It's meant to have the pink or / red coolant, and someone's put green coolant in it, which explains a little bit of the corrosion in that water inlet pipe here. I'll just show you. So all this corrosion here on this pipe would be the result of using the wrong coolant. So I'm going to have to flush this out a couple of times before I get it back on the road. So what you want to do next is you want to remove the rest of the pulleys. So you might start off with the tensioner pulley. So it's got these two bolts here. So undo those and we'll keep going. And they are at 13mm. So to get to that pulley better, I'm going to try and undo this power steering pump. So now we're gonna undo the rest of this power steering pulley. So you got your 14mm through the gap. So to undo this crank pulley, I've got my breaker bar here. I've got a handle off my jack, just to give me more leverage. So I'm just going to put that on the crank pulley there. And then I'm going to put the jack handle on. And then I'm going to try to turn it anti-clockwise. Yeah, that's correct with this. Now I can get my rotor gun out and undo it the rest of the way. Yeah, it's a crank bolt undone. Now I need to pull the crank pulley off, and for that you need a crank pulley, you need a puller to get it off. So I'll just go grab that and we'll get to doing that. I know that I'm using the wrong gear puller here, but I'm just working with what I've got. I'm going to put up some screenshots of what the actual gear puller looks like. There's a crankshaft pulley. So now what you want to do is you want to go around and just remove this pulley. You want to loosen the AC compressor off the side of the timing cover and just leave it hanging there, and then you can undo the bolts going all around the timing cover, and that should free the timing cover up. And don't forget these bolts in the middle there too. So we'll get to doing that. So first of all, we'll just get this pulley off to get it out of the way. We'll get rid of that pulley out of the way. That's the tensioner pulley. So there's a bolt hiding underneath this pulley here, so you're going to need to remove this bolt and the one below it to get the AC compressor out of the way. So as you can see here, I've loosened the AC compressor. There's 3 bolts. There's one there, and there's another one at the back. That will loosen that up, and they're all 15 mils. So now we have access to all the timing case bolts. So we'll undo all those, and we'll see what it looks like underneath. Move him out of the way first. Okay, the timing cover bolts are all 13mm, so just go around and buzz them all off. We just take these sensors out just in case they get damaged, so I'm just going to do that. Scrape these guys out on both sides. Chuck the bolts back in there so you don't lose them. Do the other side. The other two. There you go. That's the other side of it. Now let's have a look at this chain. Now if you see here, this lower chain, you can see it's really loose. It's very loose. Bring you in closer so you can see it. This third chain here, look how loose that is. It's very loose. Now I'm just going to check the marks and see if they're still aligned. And I'll go back to... So after turning the engine over a couple of times, I've noticed that these markings here don't match up with that arrow. So there's a timing arrow there and the timing, that mark is not lined up. And then the mark down the bottom on the crank there doesn't line up with the arrow, with the little dot that's on the crank too. So it's that third chain that's really loose. And not to mention, you can see the travel, how much these tensioners have travelled. They're way out there, so these chains are a little bit stretched. Same with the other side, you can see how much that tension has travelled out. It's reached the limits pretty much there. And the bottom one doesn't look too bad. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. And stay tuned for part 3 where I actually replace the chain and reassemble the vehicle.